He is known for his extensive studies and knowledge in philosophy. He is recognized for his contributions to the field of philosophy. His name is Edward Herbert, 1st Baron Herbert of Shropshire. Edward Herbert, the eldest son of Richard Herbert of Montgomery Castle, was born into a prestigious family in Ayton-on-Severn near Wroxeter, Shropshire. From a young age, he showed great promise and was encouraged by his parents to pursue a well-rounded education. He enrolled at University College, Oxford, where he excelled in his studies and developed a passion for languages, music, and various other disciplines. At the age of 15, Edward married his cousin Mary, a union that would mark the beginning of a new chapter in his life. As Edward Herbert entered adulthood, he ventured into the realm of politics, serving as a member of Parliament for Montgomeryshire and later for Merioneth. His dedication to public service led to his appointment as Sheriff of Montgomeryshire in 1605. However, Edward's pursuits extended beyond politics. He was a man of many talents, with a keen interest in philosophy, music, and the arts. This multidimensional approach to life would later shape his unique worldview and philosophical beliefs. Edward Herbert's legacy lies not only in his political achievements but also in his contributions to philosophy. He was a proponent of the concept of philosophical skepticism, which questions the certainty of knowledge and encourages intellectual exploration. Through his writings and ideas, Edward Herbert left a lasting impact on the philosophical landscape of his time and beyond. In 1608, Edward Herbert embarked on a journey to Paris alongside his friend Aurelian Townsend. During his time there, he had the privilege of meeting King Henry IV and enjoying the hospitality of the esteemed old Constable de Montmorency at Merleux. He even had the opportunity to lodge with the renowned scholar Isaac Casaubon. Upon his return to England, Edward found himself held in high regard, with many of the greatest individuals in both court and city desiring his company. During this period, Edward was closely associated with literary figures such as Ben Jonson and John Donne. In fact, Jonson's play, Epicoene, or The Silent Woman, is believed to contain references to Edward Herbert. Both Donne and Jonson honored him through their poetry. However, Edward's life was not without its share of challenges and confrontations. In December 1609, he found himself in a physical altercation with a Scottish usher at Greenwich Palace who had disrespectfully taken a ribbon from Mary Middlemore's hair. If not for the intervention of the Privy Council, Edward would have engaged in a duel in Hyde Park. In 1610, Edward volunteered as a soldier in the Low Countries under the Prince of Orange, forging a close friendship with him. He distinguished himself during the capture of Juliers from the Holy Roman Emperor. In a daring act, Edward even offered to settle the war through single combat, challenging a champion from the enemy's side. Unfortunately, his challenge was declined. Upon returning to England in 1611, Edward faced yet another test when he was accused by Sir John Eyre of having an affair with his wife Dorothy. Surviving an assault in London, Edward's reputation remained intact. His thirst for adventure and knowledge led him to travel to various parts of Europe. He visited Spinola in the Spanish camp near Wesel and later met the Elector Palatine at Heidelberg. Edward also embarked on a journey to Italy. At the request of the Duke of Savoy, he led an expedition of 4,000 Huguenots from Languedoc into Piedmont to aid the Savoyards against Spain. However, his journey brought him perilously close to losing his life during the trip to Lyon, and upon his arrival there, he was imprisoned. Despite his efforts, the enterprise came to naught. Edward eventually returned to the Netherlands and the Prince of Orange before finally arriving back in England in 1617. Edward Herbert, known as Baron Herbert of Shropshire, was a renowned diplomat and philosopher in the 17th century. His life was filled with diplomatic challenges and political intrigue, but it was his philosophical teachings that would leave a lasting impact on the world. In 1619, Herbert was appointed as an ambassador to Paris, where he was tasked with important missions. One of his goals was to negotiate the marriage between Charles, Prince of Wales, and Henrietta Maria. Another was to seek the assistance of Louis XIII for Frederick V, Elector Palatine. Herbert's diplomatic skills were put to the test as he navigated the complex world of politics and courtly intrigue. During his time in France, Herbert became involved in a high-profile case involving the theft of jewels belonging to Anne of Denmark. He worked tirelessly to resolve the situation, showing his dedication to justice and diplomacy. However, a quarrel with de Luynes, a powerful figure at the French court, led to Herbert's recall in 1621. Despite this setback, Herbert's popularity and diplomatic abilities were undeniable. After the death of de Luynes, Herbert returned to his post in 1622. He continued to work towards his goals, but unfortunately, he was unable to secure the assistance of Louis XIII for Frederick V. In April 1624, he was dismissed from his position as ambassador, leaving him in a state of financial debt. Despite the challenges he faced, Herbert's contributions to philosophy cannot be overlooked. His teachings on the nature of divinity and morality have had a profound impact on generations to come. His philosophical beliefs were deeply rooted in his personal experiences and his quest for understanding the world around him. In recognition of his services, Herbert was granted the Irish peerage of Baron Herbert of Castle Island in 1624 and the English barony of Herbert of Sherbury in 1629. These titles, however, offered little financial reward for his diplomatic endeavors.
Do you want to explore more philosophers? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.